War Thunder, the game that can make you smile and cry in really just a matter of moments. Don't believe me? Witness Exhibit A. 30 rounds left. Yes! Oh my god. I cannot believe it. Wow, look at that damage model. Okay, first 2 kills. We're gonna land this puppy, and I am gonna swap out to the P26 because I am not digging this at all. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no! Ah, yes, as you can see, I've suffered greatly during this process. I've got to say, the new decision to put the BF2C-1, I think that's the dash one, I don't know. Anyways, that aircraft, that new biplane, I think it was a good decision. However, I'm going to say something controversial. I actually like the P26. I know, everybody doesn't like the P26P shooter. I happen to like it quite a bit.
And I don't have to explain myself at all, in fact. So if you guys want an explanation of why I like the P26P shooter, then go ahead and leave a comment down below letting me know to make a video on that and waste more of my time, because I totally love wasting my time.
Low tier, which is incredibly nice. A lot of biplanes, just it's really awful. I mean, look at the F3F for example. Like, God, just literally a giant slab of metal right in front of your face. Why did they do that? Why? Just get rid of the whole sight entirely. I'll take a classic gun sight over this any day. Anyways, totally besides the point. So one might ask, what exactly am I doing? What's my goal here? And I don't really know, to be completely honest. Mostly just masochism, I guess. The goal, though, specifically, is I want to research every single aircraft in War Thunder in simulator battles exclusively. I cannot ever go into a realistic game or an arcade game on this particular account. So I've created this account specifically so I can just do simulator battles. Why am I doing it? Again, masochism. First of all. Second of all, I actually think that simulator is really cool, and War Thunder Sim isn't the best simulator out there. There's a lot of other simulators that get better support, obviously, but in my personal opinion, War Thunder is particularly nice in the fact that it is free to play, and I don't want people to be, disencouraged from trying out simulator. Now, that's not to say that realistic or arcade don't have their place. Actually, I think those modes are very fun. I personally haven't played them in a long time, but I do enjoy a good arcade game from time to time. Realistic, I have a little bit more trouble getting into, but ultimately, I think that it is just a ridiculous project, and honestly, it also kind of goes to show the state of War Thunder as it stands. I know that they've talked about changing a lot of the different economies for buying stuff. FPE was a really big issue, being able to protect yourself from fires. Seems like that's getting better over time, but honestly, at the end of the day, I just think that this is a ridiculous project, and I don't think anybody else has done it before. So here we are. We are doing War Thunder simulator battles, research every single aircraft, and that'll be by tier. So this is how it's going to start. Obviously, I'm going from left to right on the skill panel. So you'll see me starting off with the American aircraft, which is this episode. Next episode is going to be the German aircraft, or, Spicy Mustache Man aircraft. And then it'll be another round of Spicy Mustache Man. But what's up with all the dudes that have spicy mustaches in World War II?
It really is just a strange thing, isn't it? I don't understand it. Anyways, once I've completed Tier 1 aircraft for the Americans, then I'll go ahead and move on. How I want to do this and explain it in video format, I don't entirely know. I could give some of my opinions on the planes. I definitely enjoy giving some of my opinions on the planes. I'm a very opinionated person, as you'll find out. I could say that 5 times fast. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled peppers. Yeah, something along those lines. In any case, yeah, I really enjoy flying a lot of these planes, and that is part of the reason why I'm doing this. It's really an excuse to just play War Thunder constantly, over and over and over again. So, I hope you guys enjoy this content. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to continue watching, and hey, look at that, I got a kill just now. So if you guys really do have any suggestions for me, let me know, and I am happy to change up my style or whatever. But in the meantime, I guess we'll go ahead and get into it, and let's maybe break down the tier list first, shall we? So here's what we're working with. I took this photo after... Wait, that's not what it looks like anymore. Sons of Attila update just recently dropped. So let me go ahead and update this for you. Kaboom! There you go. Wonderful, it's now updated. Okay, so there was obviously a couple of changes in this version here. So we have the TBF-1C is now in Tier 1, I guess, and also it has been merged with the SPD Dauntless. And then also PBM-1 Mariner is now a Tier 1 or Rank 1 aircraft, and the P-36G got moved down to Rank 2, which I actually agree with that. It consistently fights with Rank 2 aircraft anyways, just because of how it's tiered, so it didn't make any sense that it was Rank 1. Other than that, pretty much everything else is the same. Except it's not. Apparently the TBD and the V18 are also merged. Now that's also a decision that I agree with, because for some weird reason, the PBY Catalinas are 2.0 in simulator battles, but for whatever reason, the B-18 is not. It was a 1.7 rated aircraft, which also, by the way, yeah, that's a thing. So rank 2 in simulator battles starts at 2.0 for whatever reason. They were doing this weird deal where they were changing it for a little bit. So like sometimes you would have 2.0 against 1.0, or then sometimes they would switch it up. But it seems pretty consistent now that they have it set up to where it is 1.0 to 1.7 aircraft, which I don't disagree with that decision either. It's just, it's definitely changed. It's a very interesting change. How about that? So, needless to say, yeah, that's sort of the changes that have been made. And let's talk about some of the planes. Now, what I was surprised by was that I actually really enjoyed the F2A-1 Buffalo. That one particular aircraft I never really had a soft spot for until recently. Its dive performance is incredible at the tier that it's set at, and you know, it has a decent climb rate. It's really nothing stupendous, but it's also got a pretty good turn rate. So with all of that being said, good dive, good turn, etc., is great. F3F is alright. It has that stupid giant metal slab. P26 is my favorite, honestly, of rank 1 for the low tier, except for the P36A. That is my absolute favorite. The P36A is the king of its tier, in my personal opinion. It's got ridiculous climb rate, it's got ridiculous turn speed, it's got ridiculous just like everything. The only problem that I see with it, and the only gripe that I have with it, is that it does like to snap its wings if you turn too aggressively at anything over 420 kilometers per hour. And yes, I use kilometers per hour. Get over it. So, under any circumstance, those are my favorite planes. The TBD actually surprised me. It has a bomb sight, and it can carry 12 100-pound bombs, so you know, you do the math there. That's actually pretty good, and it's a pretty small aircraft. It's just kind of slow, so you'd almost be better off just taking out a bomber. but for what it is, it's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. So TBD, Devastator, not too shabby. And of course, my favorite of the bombers is the B-18 Bolo. Now, I actually got to see a real one of these back in Colorado. If you go visit the Wings Over the Rockies exhibit, they have a B-18 Bolo sitting there under restoration, and I believe they're trying to get ready to fly. And for those of you that didn't know, I didn't know this either. Apparently Douglas made those, and that makes a lot of sense because then you start seeing the resemblance between it and the, what is that? You know, super famous aircraft, not like a DC-3 or something like that, right? Yeah, DC-3. So that actually is pretty much the same exact airframe. So fun fact for you guys. Anyways, enough about planes. I'm sure eventually if I continue doing this War Thunder stuff, I'll give you guys my personal opinions on each aircraft in better depth. But let's go ahead and talk about the actual journey that I suffered going through all of this, and this is where the editing is going to get intense. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. There we go. Pilot unconscious. First kill. Yes! Oh my god. I like it. All the homies love carrier landings. All the homies love carrier landings. Now, obviously, as you guys saw previously, I started off with the BF2C, and that was a pretty fun plane. It took me a little bit to kind of get used to just because of how slow it is, but the maneuverability on it is absolutely insane, and a little bit of extra ammo count on it for the 1200 really made it nice. So I was able to get a little bit more combat time in. Obviously, that's, you know, pretty subtle considering that you're firing 7.62, but it was still pretty entertaining to fly. P-26, obviously, I've already said that I really like that. And this was the first match, so I pretty much just flew all three aircraft. The Galer's F3F I didn't really get to touch as much, but it went okay. after a little bit, I just kept on getting killed by this guy.
Look at these little shits. Flying circles around me. Damn, he's gotten me now 3 times.
Yeah, so first battle, it was okay. Pretty much just did 1-to-1 KD ratio on that, got a few kills here and there, and then afterwards, I believe it ended up ending pretty quickly here. I got the vibe of you're not getting any aircrafts researched anytime soon, and this is going to be an absolute grinder. Fortunately, it didn't totally end up like that, especially after the Sons of Alita update came out. That definitely is going to help a lot in this process, but let's see what we did in getting.
So yeah, that was the first match. I was outnumbered, like literally, as you can see at the end there. It was literally like 1v3, so, you know, take with that what you will. But yeah, we ended up going into another battle just right afterwards, and things went marginally better. There was really not a whole lot of people in there, and I think it was mostly bots, so I don't really talk about that. I will say that bots and servers are convenient because they're really good for grinding, but it's just not as fun. It's sort of fun for like the first 10 minutes or so because they're just random and they're all over the place, and then, you know, you shoot down one, you shoot down another, and another, and another, and it's just, yeah, no, it's not that great. So, anyways, moving on. The battle was solid, and after exiting out of everything, I unlocked my first aircraft. Hey, yeah, that was really cool. So, TBD Destroyer, or Devastator, I believe it was called. That aircraft ended up being pretty good, you know. Like I said, 12 100-pound bombs on a bomb site. Like, I mean, that's like an A-10 at Tier 1. That's just insane. So, wonderful little plane. Highly recommend it. And in fact, I liked it so much that I took it out the next match. Now, I didn't know that I was going to like it in the next match, and to be completely honest, I don't even think I realized that I had a bomb sight at this point. So let me go ahead and scroll through some of the media here and see if I ever end up using that bomb sight on this battle. Nope. Nope. And I got distracted with another aircraft, so cool. Oh, also, I didn't realize that my bombs were set to a 0-second fuse. I figured that they were going to be at least 2 seconds. That's usually what I set them to, so that's why I took damage on my aircraft while I was dropping bombs. I'm a genius. So yeah, I go ahead and dogfight this guy, and then he dogfights me, and he really dogs me up because I really was not in a aircraft that was capable of dogfighting him, because he at least has, you know, something of a turn radius. I do not. So he whips around the circle pretty quick there and lights me up, and then he ends up being a problem in the next match, which I'll go ahead and just go over to now because I didn't stay in this one for very long. Now, I'm pretty much positive that these two dudes that I was going after were definitely communicating on another phone line, probably on Discord or whatever, because every time I would dive in for one of their guys, which one of them was flying a BF-109B and the other one was an HA-112, every time I dove in on one, the other one showed up, and it just drove me absolutely up the wall. Because, see, here I am, you know, going in on his ass, and I'm, you know, he's at a pretty good angle, and then I get downed because that was mostly my pilot error, but it didn't help that he was right hot on my tail. I didn't really get any redemption until I ended up taking out the BF-2C, which that really changed the game for me. I saw this dude roaming around all funny and stuff, and I think I lit him up pretty good there, and I believe he goes down here in a moment. And then what really made me happy was I saw the BF-109 all alone, so that just gave me the opportunity to go and take him out. Albeit I followed him and followed him and followed him. Yeah, it was definitely a moment of my guns are not good enough for this, and I just am gonna have to, you know, try to do something else. And I came up with something and it worked, so it was perfect.
Pro tip, if you know you can outmaneuver your enemy and you still can keep your eyes on him from a distance, so maybe like go off at more of like a crabbed angle instead of just turning your butts directly towards him, you're more likely to get him to turn around, and then you'll be able to spot him and he'll try to come in at you, and then utilize your turn radius to just go and approach him anyways, and then he makes stupid mistakes like that. So yeah, I was going through and ducking and weaving, and then I saw the HE-112 by himself again, so as well, since they're now away from each other. So I just went in, shot him up real good, and that made me feel a lot better about myself. I'm a sore loser like that. Not really. I was actually having a really good time. I was just a little bit frustrated because sometimes it's, if only I had a friend. If only I had a friend. Flying alone, it's real lonely out here.
Nobody's got time for that. War Thunder waits for no one.
And I forgot to mention that I actually ended up getting the P-36. So, whoops, I don't know if I recorded that, but it happened. I got that aircraft. Yeah, it was good. And for the next session, it looks like what we ended up doing, we took off in our TBD, and we ended up actually using the bomb sights for once. Look at that, I figured it out, finally, that I could actually use a bomb sight. So that's fascinating. We'll go ahead and show some of those kills here, I guess. Yeah, sure. Bomb some stuff. Yeah, look at that. So as I got more familiar with the sluggish flight characteristics of this absolute friggin' brick of an aircraft, I finally got intercepted by MiG-3. Now, can I just say the MiG-315 is borderline busted for this tier. It actually has a decent armament. It can get into 1.0 to 1.7 lobbies, and it goes 600 miles per hour, or excuse me, 600 kilometers per hour. So 600 kilometers per hour at this tier, frankly, it has to go pretty high, but its dive performance is ridiculous. I use the hell out of that aircraft on my alt account anytime, and so it just, it blitzes you. Given he did have to make quite a few passes on me in order to get me down, the TBD is still an American aircraft. It still is pretty chunky, so it can take some battle damage. But yeah, so after that, looks like go ahead and take off in the P-36 and let's see what we do here. And yep, we lose. So that's what we do. That's what we do all the time. We lose. So hey, 7 ground targets destroyed. Would like to get those numbers up a little bit, considering I was carrying 12 bombs. For some reason, I was really struggling with those Panzers, but we can figure it out. But I have a little surprise for you guys here. I finally say, hey, maybe I should go ahead and check my thingy. And there you have it, SB2U, aircraft I really didn't even touch at all. Honestly, it's only so good, but it's all right. It's all right. I'm sure we'll get around to flying that plane at some point. Maybe I'll fly every single aircraft. Screw it. Why not? Love the unloved. That's what we do here. So, any case. And then we were off to the next battle. This time I took out the trusty F3F. Again, my absolute favorite. I love the metal slab in the middle of everything. But this time we were engaging some bombers, and I figured, you know what, we can go ahead and actually use that front sight to our advantage and engage them from far away until we got too close, and I had to start making evasive maneuvers, etc., etc. Got a damaged aircraft, and ultimately ended up having to go put her down. But it was kind of fun because there was another dude that was intercepting these aircraft with me and helping me out. So after landing and swapping into the P-26,
I went ahead and took off once again, and we ended up shooting pretty much all of them down at a certain point. Of course, I got shot down to the P-26, but yeah, it's fine. After that, I ended up copping into another battle. I believe we ended up winning that one or something. I don't know what happened. Of course, getting up right away and trying to intercept this darn old bomber. I got lit up right away, and it was totally cool. You know, freaking totally massacred right here. It's great. So, after getting put back down to the ground like a dog that I am, I ended up hopping into the TBD. So this time I decided, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go ahead and try to do something that I don't do very often, which is intercept convoys. There wasn't as much going on in this match from what I noticed, so I wanted to see if I could actually destroy every single vehicle on a convoy. So we went through and we damaged some stuff, including ourselves, because once again I forgot to change the fuses to, 2-second bomb fuses instead of 0-second bomb fuses. I'm pretty sure they're even faster than assault fuses. I think the assault fuse is like a couple of seconds on the ground. I don't know what the timing is. Either way, point is that I was getting shot up by my own bombs, so that was fun. I think I did more damage to myself than the AI did to me, which ultimately cost my life. But I did, destroy quite a few of their vehicles, and of course we ended up getting some other air support that came in and helped me out with the job, and I think that was pretty good. Just went ahead and moved on to the next thing, as I always do. And that, again, was the P-26. Did I mention to you guys how much I like the P-26? Did I? I don't know if I did. Let me explain to you. I really like the P-26. I don't know what it is about it. It's just such a quirky little plane. It looks funny. It was designed in a weird time, golden age of aircraft, and yada yada. It's just so cool. And plus, it was like the last time Boeing actually genuinely made a fighter. The F-18 doesn't count. It doesn't. Just come on. That's McDonald's plane. It doesn't count. Come on. And really, honestly, it is nothing against Boeing, but it's a thing. So, anyways, I go ahead and shoot down this bomber real quick, just totally bliss him with 7.62, which was, frankly surprising. We end up getting into another little tussle over here, helping out our Swedish friend because, screw the Zero. A5M is actually a really cool aircraft. But we end up making a miscalculation, and I promptly find myself in the ground once again. So it's all good. But, eye for an eye. Look at that. Eye for an eye. I love that achievement. In any case, crawling out there for more like the masochist I am, I ended up trying to help out my buddy here, the SBD, that was getting harassed by a couple of aircraft. And so we ended up pursuing this guy. Actually, I think maybe it was just the one, CR-42 or CR-32. This guy really should have killed me, and I'm surprised that I survived for as long as I did. I gotta thank the War Thunder bots for that, because they really came in clutch there, throwing him off my tail a couple of times. I just kept on fumbling around and making myself a buffoon, and they really came in and helped me out. So that's really what I'm talking about right there. That's where Gaijin really puts in the time. So after that, we popped back up, got some altitude, and started harassing some of the bots. Oftentimes these little objectives are really good to get through. That's what gets you to win the game. So we were attacking some of these Ju-87s, which I will say is god-awful to have to go after, especially at this tier. Your aircraft are just papier-mâché, and those MGs are just atrocious, man. You just cannot get around them. I oftentimes will find, using Albert Ball, throwback to World War I, he actually liked approaching his enemies from the bottom, if you guys knew that, so that's pretty fun. He liked to avoid the gunners being able to see him. He was quite a spicy little chap there. So we ended up getting to tussle with these guys.
Until, lo and behold, my A5M buddy decided to come back up. I love those fixed wing, you know, externally braced. Well, that one's not externally braced. My aircraft, I think the pea shooter is the only monoplane wing braced aircraft or externally braced aircraft in the game, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. There could be more. Maybe the Kingfisher? I don't think so. Either way, we got into a dogfight with this guy, and it was going ish for a minute until it was going a lot better, so that was good for me. But then his buddy over here in the HE51 made a mistake and decided that he was going to dogfight me too, and I don't think that this guy was very familiar with simulator battles, unfortunately. And you know, you pay the price for not knowing, and it's okay. We were all there at one point in time. Hell, I'm still getting my butt whooped. But to this day, it is what it is. It is what it is. Now, of course, I didn't actually see this guy end up crashing. You know, again, like I said, I'm guessing I must have critically hit his aircraft enough, and he just kept on flat spinning and just eventually ended up getting put down. I ran out of ammo. Well, I didn't run out of ammo. I was out of enough ammo to really do anything about the situation, so I figured it was just going to be best if I buggered off. I had all of the airspeed in the world that I needed to get away from him, and he clearly was not interested in trying to fight me anymore, so I just let him do his thing, and I guess I got the kill for it. So it's unfortunate, but it happens. I always like to see somebody that's able to nurse their aircraft back to, you know, their base. And if you guys ever want an aircraft to do that in, the P-47 is the best one to do it in. I mean, that thing has literally been missing both of its wings on me, and the engine is red and all of that stuff, and I'm like a good 2 squares away from our airfield, and I still managed to set it down gently, believe it or not. Typically not with the landing gear retracted, but you know, P-47, truly a great durable aircraft. So if you guys ever need to practice your rough landings, there you go, you use that one. On to the next thing. Of course, I pretty much got finished with this battle, and that was it for the night for me. I was going to go play some games with friends, and I really needed some downtime as well from War Thunder, as it was slowly draining my soul. Slowly but surely. So, yeah, that's fun. Now for this next one, I just wanted to quickly see my exploits from the night before. I had unlocked a couple more aircraft and figured, screw it, I'll go ahead and get this all researched and whatnot. And awesome thing about the TBD as well that I didn't know, it's got provisions to extinguish its engine, which is actually amazing. It just made it way better in my book. So that's for Tier 1 attackers, the TBD Devastator is actually quite a bit up there. Everything else is okay here, though. I end up just doing a bunch of research and taking my time with that, and it's all good and stuff. So we'll go ahead and move on to the actual fighting here for the next segment. And of course, we're up and at 'em with our 2 new aircraft, the P-36 and the F-2A Buffalo, which I end up reigniting my appreciation for the F-2A Buffalo. P-36 honestly doesn't need to show itself any love to me. I already love the aircraft, though I will say that I don't like the C as much as I like the G model. And reason being is that their performance is more or less comparable, and you get extra guns on the G model. That's just my personal thinking on it. But otherwise, they're both still phenomenal aircraft at the end of the day. Doesn't really matter. So we get onto this and do ourselves some business, and let's see what is our kill count at the end of this. And it says 0. Strange. That's not true. I'm positive I destroyed? Wait, let's see here. Yeah, 3 kills, but said 0 aircraft destroyed. That's weird. I know for a fact I at least got a couple of clips from earlier from that battle. So, but hey, look at that. I unlocked the F2A Buffalo. So that's really what matters here, because I end up dreading it for a moment and then realizing that it's actually quite fun. Now, of course, it oftentimes is going to get up-tiered. Right now, we're showing 1.0 to 2.0, but at the time of recording this, it was 1.0 to 1.7. War Thunder likes to go through and change it up every once in a while. For the 1.0 to 2.0, this thing is a madman, and it's a total menace. It's got a great dive speed, pretty good performance for a climb, etc., especially considering, you know, it's the frickin' Brewster Buffalo. But look at that ammo. Look at all that ammo. I just bled up a bunch of it inside of that one aircraft. But typically, the bottom one, the one that has more on these low-tier aircrafts, is all the 7.62. But actually, on this plane, it's the 50 cals. So this thing has a bunch of 50 cals and only a little bit of ammo for its 30 cal. So this thing is an absolute beast when it comes to lighter aircraft. It just shreds them up in a jiffy. You know, it's actually kind of a blast to fly. I can't lie, and it's got decent turn performance when it's actually matched up against the 2.0 to 2.7 aircraft. It still does pretty decent in terms of turn fighting. Otherwise, just don't even mess with it. Don't turn fight with this thing at all. If you're gonna be on 1.0 to 2.0, it's not gonna fly with you unless you're turning with like a bomber, for that matter. So, in any case, yeah, this match was pretty quick. I just did that real quick, and I think we put it back down on the carrier and we call it a night.
This next clip, you know, you can really tell that insanity is genuinely set in at this point. I mean, listen to this dude.
What am I doing?
It's just sad. It really is.
What am I doing? I got 2 aircraft now. Or 2 or 3. I don't know.
Okay, crunch time. Honestly, I'm getting over it. So we're gonna make this one quick. I take off, and let's see what happens next. We get absolutely surrounded by Japanese aircraft, and it actually is kind of cool. Not gonna lie, it is very fun when this kind of stuff happens. But yeah, this was utterly stressful. You can already hear me just freaking the fuck out. I mean, I had 3 Japanese aircraft on my 6. You know, a lot of them started out with more energy than me. I don't know what I was expecting at this point. I was amazed that I lived as long as I did. But, you know, sometimes that's what it's all about.
Smoked over here.
Hell coming right back at you. So, here's my desperate attempt to try and turn away a really damaged aircraft. And it was just not going to go over great. I was roasting my engine. And yeah, that's pretty much how the whole situation went there. So after that, I went ahead and took a shot in the dark and thought maybe it would be good if I had an aircraft with some decent turn performance. So I took off in the P-36 to try to help our Hurricane buddy over here, and he died. That's unfortunate. So that pretty much is going to write about how the rest of this game ends up going, where it's just constantly like having to go back and forth and duck and weave, and you know, for 1 second you've got the advantage, and then another second you've got somebody else on your 6, and it's really fun. You know, sometimes you just it's just that's how the game is. You win some, you lose some. It's War Thunder. What do you expect?
Man. Nope. That was the end of the match. Darn. That was really not very, was not very good. Yeah, man, I wonder if there's only 2 of us on my team. Okay. Whoa. That's cool. I didn't know that had an engine fire system.
Next act was marginally better, mostly just going after, you know, bots and then the occasional dude. I really was starting to go nuts, and I'm even going nuts making this video right now as it stands. It's taken so long to do this. It's insane. Honestly, it is nuts how long it was taking to get this done. The Sons of Attila update, the second that dropped, I pretty much was able to research all the rest of the aircraft that I needed. Seriously, it was that ridiculous. This just goes to show how bad the economy was for War Thunder. You know, it sort of reminds me of another economy that is currently, you know, we don't talk about it.
BF-110, I think. We're gonna go blitz that dude.
Yeah, you go blitz that dude. See what happens.
Oh, nope, it wasn't a bot.
See what happens.
Oh, fancy that. I should have paid attention.
BF-110 was a bot, but I didn't realize that the guy behind him wasn't also not a bot. So, also look at that canopy. Disgusting.
Man,
Why would you keep that open on that plane? Ugh.
Alrighty, we're gonna try again.
Yo. What?
Oh my god, I cannot believe that just happened.
The I don't care anymore has definitely started to set in at this point, but you know, that's what happens when you have a couple of bad games in a row. So let's just go ahead and we're gonna skip over this one. It was really not that important. Let's see what we unlocked at the end of it. And just like that, it was a new day. No, I did not finish out that match, and I didn't get anything unlocked directly afterwards, so I had to wait for it to complete. It's a wonderful little thing. SPD3, hey, look at that, the Dauntless. We love the Dauntless. So, we got that unlocked, and see, look, it's looking pretty good here. And of course, at this point, I pretty much have every single aircraft actually unlocked, especially once Sons of Attila come out, because these two other planes, they end up getting researched really fast. And the other two, the F2A-3 and the P36G, end up getting moved down to rank 2. So that made my life a little bit easier, if anything. But hey, look at that, also fully researched the F2A Buffalo, the -1 variant, which has a fire prevention system on it. I cannot believe that it has a fire what? It's just crazy. On a single engine aircraft at this tier, the Buffalo is a plane after my heart. I'm just saying, you know, it really is not that bad. It's not that bad. And because we got the SPD, well, let's see what we go ahead and do here. We take off and that, maybe get a kill, and kablooey. That's gonna be it for Act 9. I actually genuinely had to log off at that point. But anyways, moving on. We're here in the Bolo, my favorite plane bomber thingy. It's not my favorite plane, but it is my favorite bomber. It's just a nice looking little bomber, okay guys? It's so goofy, and it's one of the lesser known bombers. It's just so cool, and it looks like a C3, and it's great. Yeah, we're DC3. I'm not insane, you're insane. So with this bomb load at this tier, I was able to bomb 3.5 bases about. It was probably more like 3 3/4 because the base was almost entirely destroyed. I really just needed to go out there and drop one more bomb on it. It was amazing. Also, really frustrating detail. Before the Sons of Attila update, the B-18 was below the Catalinas, but both of the Catalinas are 2.0 and the B-18 is 1.7. Why? It's so dumb. The PBY Catalina has like about the same bomb load, and it's so much slower. It's so much slower. Why? Why did they do that? Ugh. Sons of Attila definitely was a change well needed. Anyways, out of the bomber, I decided we'd go ahead and screw around in the final model of the P-26, since pretty much every other aircraft that I had here, except for the F3F, is fully researched. So I figured I'd go ahead and play with the P-26 some more. Yay, go me. I really like peas. I like split pea soup. I love peas. Don't you guys love peas?
Also, can I just say, this crash was weird. How did I die? What? Like, I figured, oh, that would probably have destroyed the landing gear, but no, that killed me. That just straight up was it. So, anyways, I go ahead and take out the SBD, and we have some fun with that one. I can't say I'm a huge fan of utilizing that scope in order to aim, but you know, it works out. And hey, bullseye, we got a fucking light AA, and then we ended up getting harassed by a 0. Also, this is the only acceptable scenario to actually use your gunners on your aircraft, is if you actually are in a single seat gunner position and you're in the pit. And yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it just looks a lot cooler for one, but also for two, it's just better overall. So yeah, we light him up pretty good. He lights us up pretty good, but we do better. Look at that. Big wang. Sayonara. You know, sometimes I feel bad for flying low tier when there's people that are inexperienced, but then, you know, I have situations like Arcady, which I have actually, as of recording this, I did start a little bit on the German tier list, and I encountered him again, and he was on the American side, and he was also flying the TBD Devastator. So that was kind of funny in a weird roundabout way. But anyways, that's for another day. We'll talk about that. We return to base, hop back up in the B-20. The P-26, the P shooter. And we go ahead and start shooting up these dudes that were harassing one of our air bases. Also, there's a point that we were going to go ahead and go cap real quick. And one of the dudes that had got shot down earlier was kind of a wuss. I was tracking him for a bit, and then he just went up into the clouds, and I never saw him again. Bye. And so that was the end of Act 10 of this whole ordeal. Just want to go home, guys. And take a look at that. We got another plane. Whoopee! And then we have a moment where I decided to say, Captain, it's 4 p.m. Time to fly the F3F, your favorite biplane. Okay, but all notes aside, this thing is kind of ridiculous. It's got an awesome turn rate, and it does have a 50 cal on it. So it's not that bad. I just hate the fact that I can't see anything out of it. I mean, look at this. It's just awful. But right into the action here. I love when this happens. That's kind of why I enjoy bots, is that they like to fly over the airfields, so you just get to go through the most random BS. And it's just always hot. It's always fun, you know? There's just nothing to it. You hop up, there's stuff to do. Always stuff to do. So we go ahead, we fly around for a bit, get a couple kills, and I end up going into another game. And this time, we're flying the F2A. Now, this game was probably one of my favorites, flying the F2A, because there was plenty of action going on, and I got lots of kills, and there was some good dogfighting. You know, we had a decently coordinated team, everything was going great, and I was just going in and blitzing them. There was a pair of Hurricanes that were just making quick work of some dudes and doing ground pound and all that good coordinated stuff. So I believe we end up winning this one at the end of it, but it was just a lot of fun. So I'll go ahead and show you some of those clips now. But, as with everything, all good things must come to an end. Real pity. But, it happens. And finally, it was all too late at night. I really shouldn't have even been playing War Thunder at this point. I had been playing it constantly. I was trying to get this done. and I was really at my wit's end with the whole situation. But I ended up finding a little game to join, and so we hopped in. This first part was a little bit strange, honestly. I'd never been on a map quite like this, so I'll go ahead and just talk about some of the moody environments. For gameplay itself, not great. I really don't enjoy it at all. I wish that there was like some sort of like weird radar communication thing that we could utilize so that we could locate people, because being in this dense of fog was just horrible. I mean, even getting up out of the fog, going above and up to like 3,000 kilometers, there was nobody that was willing to climb up that high. So it's like you're just by yourself. But man, is this moody. Look at this. It's so cool looking. It really is really cool flying around like this, and it makes it very intriguing to fly around like that. You know, you're more inclined to maybe like try to hug the ground or whatever. I think I saw like maybe 2 enemies the entire time. But anyways, that's besides the point. Let's just go ahead and move on to the final match, the actual final match. It was good. First, I wanted to try my hand at doing some naval operations, a little bit of bombing around the Christmas tree, and a happy holiday. Hey, you know what I'm saying? In any case, yeah, the TBF. It's a fun little plane. You know, I had to kind of edit some things in the menu here, but you'd think the first thing that I would go and do is bomb something, right? 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 No, definitely not. Eventually, though, we did end up going and bombing a couple things, and then, you know, flew a little bit too close to the nation of the rising sun and got my ass handed to me. So, you know, flack. It's a thing. And for this final part, it was pretty much all just bots, but I still had a lot of fun. There was one dude that was flying KI-45. I sort of felt bad for the chap. He was having a great time, clearly. But what do you say? I was having fun. I was having a blast, and we ended off that whole match with 12 kills. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give a little compilation here again. It's kind of crowded.
Of 100 circling camps they have built for him alone in the evenings and days. I can read by the dim and flaring lamps. His day is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His day is marching on. In the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea, with a glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he died to make men whole, let us live to make men free, while God is marching on.
just like that, it was finally over. And I figured, it wasn't going to happen tonight. I guess 10 air targets destroyed. Hey, that's a double ace, especially considering that, well, technically it's not a double ace because the TBF and it wasn't the same aircraft and yada yada. It doesn't matter. But, yeah, War Thunder really pulled through on this last part. And I've got to say, this update with Sons of Attila is going to be incredible. Of course, it was late at night, so I didn't have the audio recording. I wish I did have the audio recording of me because I was ecstatic. I was so done. And I'm just... this whole process has been one hell of a thing. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of this kind of content. I know this video was really long. Hopefully I can figure out how to cut it down on the next one, make it a little bit easier on the eyes. But hey, that's the long and short of it. When you're playing War Thunder this much, you're gonna have to just deal with it. So under any circumstance, hey, next one is gonna be Germany, and it's gonna be really fun. I already started recording some of that. I promised myself I would not record until I got this video done. But I had enough after a few days of trying to edit this video. Without any further ado, let me know if you guys like this kind of content down in the comments below. Subscribe, and let me know how I've done here today. Look at that! Germany! Woo!
Oh, man. That was actually probably one of the best carrier deck landings I've ever done. I cannot believe how good that just went. Though it was not very centered, but still, I nailed that. I didn't prop strike.